What's up, world? This is your boy AJ, the Black World Traveler, and today we are talking about how the Black independent woman was created. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like and share if you like the video. So we're going to dig right into it. So this is about how the Black independent woman was created. Now, the Black independent woman was created in the 90s. In the 70s, the 60s, anything 80s, and before that, for instance, the 70s, the 60s, actually when we got so-called like integrated, more liberated as Black people, we were always seeing a lot of proud Black women. We wore their hair natural. Women wore fros. They pressed their hair out. Black women were so beautiful how they carried themselves.
Do you prefer natural hair or weave?
I'm gonna say natural hair. I hate wigs. Wigs are the devil.
Natural hair. Like when they got the wigs on, like that's not cute.
I prefer natural though. I like everything natural. Like I don't even like the makeup.
Naturally, we wore afro. They had their hair braided. We were feeling ourselves. We were searching our African roots. We were always engulfed in our native roots and our indigenous roots. Most everybody, talking about how they were Indian, their family, and Creole or whatever you were. We were proud of that. In the 80s, in the late 70s and early 80s, you started having the TV programs started making positive Black shows. Like, Good Times was more like the Black family in the ghetto, and it was kind of like, had them struggling. But when the Jeffersons came out, the Jeffersons was the show that showed the Black family, basically being wealthy and having some success. Same as in the 90s, well, actually in the 80s as well, when you had the Cosby Show, where Bill Cosby made the Cosby Show. It was about the Black successful family, living in the neighborhood, all the friends in there. Everybody, even his parents, were all college graduates, so they come from a lineage of, educated, strong people. Then you had, A Different World, of course, it bounced off that, but it was about, then a lot of Black kids wanted to go to school, they wanted to pledge, and it was a good thing for the Black community. But in the 1990s, a lot of things changed because the Black woman, the Black independent woman was created. The narrative of her being the strong woman, the music industry, the film industry started really promoting that heavy. And a lot of you guys probably don't believe this, but that's what created the independent woman, where she started feeling like she didn't need the man. Because, back in the days, like in the 80s, 90s, most really pretty girls usually had older boyfriends. Sometimes they'd be D-boys, they'd be drug dealers, they'll be like, hustlers, they'll be, ball players, be rappers, whatever, musicians. They were always, a lot of the pretty girls would go after either the older guys and the older guys that had money. But what happened with the Black independent woman, she was created by her parents. The parents telling, hey, go to school, get your education so you ain't got to rely on a man. That was taught and that was put in her head, and she took that. It's not her fault because she was just following her parents' direction, especially dads. A lot of the dads were telling their daughters, get your money, get your education so you ain't got to rely on a man. The thing about it, those parents, mom always had a man, if that was her husband or a boyfriend, and dad always had a woman. If that was his girlfriend or his wife, that generation always lived, and all the way till they died, they had a partner. They either had a boyfriend or girlfriend, or they had a husband or a wife, and they died that way. But they told their daughters, you didn't need no man. They never told the men that. They never told the men to be independent. They always preached to the woman to be independent. And what she did, she followed her father's footsteps. If dad said, get your education, you don't rely on a man, what would she do? She would follow it. So what happened was that the industry started preaching that. Now you started seeing, remember the 80s and remember the early 90s? It was all about the independent woman. She started being created. Then the movie industries, all the movies started coming up with the college kids, and you started seeing the successful woman. The movies came out and started preaching that. How Stella Got a Groove Back, You started seeing stuff like, you started seeing music like Neo had songs, The Independent Woman. Webby had a song called Independent Woman. Like, You know, even the Cash Money was talking about she got her own house. You know, it was always preaching that. And so it glorified that. And then you started getting women where they started actually having a lot. And then sometimes these dudes, you know, you had dudes that even preyed on a lot of them. Some dudes would either get with a woman, and a lot of times she would choose. A lot of times they were choosing the street dude. They wanted the street dude. They wanted the thug. What he do? A lot of times he'd run through her pockets. That's what happened. Then they get bitter, or she'll have a kid with this dude, and then whoever she dated next, you know, he didn't want his kids around certain people. So, but that was created as the independent woman. So now you have the independent woman being created in the 90s and 2000s. From that point on, it was all about the independent woman. Remember the song No Scrubs and all that? I don't want no scrub. Scrub can't get nothing from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride trying to holler at me. A lot of times the dude driving the car had the car. Sometimes he was struggling. Sometimes dudes that was the driver of the car was living. Sometimes they couldn't even pay their note, or they'd be struggling paying the note because they got a car. Not saying all of them, but that was part of the thing. But that whole entire thing was created in the community. Now, what happened? From that point on, man, it started getting, when women started getting higher positions in jobs, they started putting black women in bigger positions, which was good for them. The problem is, if a man, now they got, when a man got to match my wealth, or, you know, he's a bum or whatever, that's what started happening. Some men couldn't match it. And if they did match it, they were, you know, going together, whatever. But the attitudes of black women got worse because they got more. You know, but even back then, think about it, man. Even if you had money, if you went to a family function, I don't care if a woman made $200,000 a year. If her man was there with her, boyfriend or husband, and that man sat down and you could eat, and she didn't make his plate, them elders be like, girl, you better make that man's plate. What you doing? The elder women would tell him, girl, you better, that's your boyfriend, that's your husband. Girl, you better make that man's plate. They would tell him that. The elders would always check that.
One of my male cousins was there with his wife, and he sat down at one of the tables while she went to go and fix him a plate. After she put the plate in front of him, she then went and fixed herself a plate. That's when I heard three young ladies talking about what they wouldn't be doing for him. They were complaining that he should get his own plate, and why does she have to do it for him? That's when one of the other women sitting across the table from them decided to tell them what type of man he was to her. She told them that he was paying bills and taking care of home and taking care of the cars and cutting the grass and removing the snow and being a good father to the children and so on and so on. After she finished telling them all of that, one of the young ladies responded, if he could do all of that, he could fix his own plate. And see, there's the reason why it's so many single women. It's not just because of the lack of good men. It's because some of them, they just don't get it. She's not fixing him a plate because he requires her to. She's fixing him a plate to show him how much she appreciates him for all that he's doing for her and the family.
You know what I'm saying? But now, from then to now, the elders don't really say much, because now the elders are the older people that raised her. So now they have daughters. So what happened when the independent woman trained her daughter, she trained her daughter to get the same thing. Go get a man that has more than you. What happened was that a lot of women have their own money. It's been like that for a while. And now she's, her attitude, her mouth, it's hard to deal with her. You know, there are good sisters out there, but a lot of the sisters that aren't really, well, I'm gonna say not good, but when a lot of them have power, they're gonna do what they want to do, man. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of men went through a lot of things with the women who so-called independent. A lot of men had to go through a lot of changes. When they have kids with them, you go to divorces, and then she get a new guy, whatever. It's just she was created to be independent. And then you started seeing the brothers started dating outside of the black community because they couldn't deal with it no more. Then you call it a sellout. But sometimes she's hard to deal with. She got a big mouth. She won't let you say anything. You see these women they be like, get over here. They be talking to belittling men and talking bad. The black woman is the only woman that belittles her man. And you see it a lot. So what happened now is that, yeah, a lot of brothers just start dating out of their race. Now you start hearing, oh yeah, black men, they don't like their women. they want to date other women. Nah, man, it's just you're too confrontational. A lot of black women became very confrontational, especially the more money they made. A lot of them are harder to deal with when they made more money. That's what happened. That's why, and then our marriage, you started seeing the marriages go down in the black community. You have a lot of black women who stopped getting married because men couldn't deal with them. So men would date other women, Asians, they would, you know, even sometimes Middle Eastern. Now, currently today, oh, black men are checking out. They checking out, even the older men. The men that raised those girls, a lot of them are married. A lot of them dudes are 70, 80 years old now. They're the ones that made the independent woman. But see, if your parents are still alive, if their spouse haven't died, they usually still with that person. And if they're not with that person, they with somebody else because they were remarried. See, the old generation didn't like being single. They would, you know, they would get remarried. If that one marriage didn't work, or say that spouse died, if their partner died, they'll end up marrying somebody else. So all these years, man, you got all these sisters. And then what happened is that in the process of being independent, black women start being, you know, in control of their health. You started seeing a lot of black women get really big, unhealthy, started eating bad, like not caring how they look, like basically getting fat, you know, where other women are in the gym. Like you go to the gym nowadays, you rarely see a lot of good looking black women in the gym. They're always outnumbered because a lot of them don't go to the gym, a lot of them don't work out, you know, now you got them doing OnlyFans, you're doing all this stuff online, they're stripping, they're doing all these things, and now they've embraced these lifestyles. You know, and if you're not in that lifestyle, you really ain't gonna get with one. Like, I don't do strippers, I don't do prostitutes. But now you have the woman where she has the prostitute mindset. Oh, if a man ain't paying my bills, yeah, you can get some when you pay these bills. That's a prostitute. So a lot of women have this prostitute idea. I want a man to take care of me and pay for this and pay for that. But if he does that, he can get some. But that's a prostitute's mindset. That's a prostitute, dog. A prostitute sell her body for money and goods. So if you're selling your body for money and goods, and you say, I'm independent, no, man, you're a hooker. You basically are a paid hooker because hookers do the same thing. And what's happening now that the women are older now, and they've had all the guys they wanted, they went through, you know, a lot of the pretty girls, you know, dating the thug dude or whatever. She got kids with them. A lot of times they not getting remarried. Like these black women are not getting married. Man, I'm a Lyft driver. Majority of the white women that I pick up, if they're over their 30s, they're married. Like, and if they aren't, and then they're in their 20s, they're engaged or they got a boyfriend. And if they are single, they look for a certain kind of man. Even if they don't date white guys, they're looking for a certain kind of man. Like a lot of white girls won't date no thug dude. You know, like a lot of Latino, any girls that are non-black that date black men, a lot of them would not date a dude that's a thug. They'll tell you, I love black men, but I'm not gonna date no thug. I'll date an educated one. And that's what they do because they don't want that kind of man. They're not attracted to that kind of guy. And a lot of black women aren't attracted to the square dude. A lot of black women, unfortunately, y'all are not attracted to the square dude, the nice guy. You know, that's not, oh, he's not exciting, I don't want that. Another thing that a lot of black women, you know, independent, just women in general, a lot of black women in general, they look at money like if you have material things, they say, oh yeah, he got bread, he got money because look how he's dressed. No, man, most of your richest dudes they dress down because they don't want nobody to know they have money. So if you know anything about wealth, the average wealthy man is not going to dress in no fancy clothes. He's going to be very, very tight with his money. So when you see these, even when I see a lot of these pranks with the gold digger pranks, these girls are so ignorant. They have no idea what they're talking about. They be like, oh yeah, you got a nice car. You got your drip. I see you got the Louisville and all that stuff. They look at that as like that's success. That's not success, man. Most rich men don't dress like that because they don't want to be in the spotlight. The average wealthy man does not want to be in the spotlight. He would not dress in no fancy clothes. He's not wearing he might wear some name brand shoes here and there. He might have a nice Rolex or something, but a lot of time he got his money invested in other stuff. So he's not worrying about buying material stuff. He's trying to buy properties. He's trying to buy land. He's trying to invest in crypto and invest in stocks and build his wealth that way. The richest men dress down the most because they don't want to have anything. So a lot of y'all black women get it wrong. And it's sad because the independent woman and the black woman in general, she thinks if a man looks good, she'll go by what a man is wearing. She won't even sit down and have a conversation with him because, oh, he don't look like this. He ain't just like a rapper. Not understanding that usually when dudes are wearing all this expensive stuff, a lot of times they're broke. They could be knockoff, and there's nothing wrong with that. It could be the real stuff, but sometimes if you're investing your money in that kind of material stuff, a lot of them dudes are broke. Like the buy name brand stuff, you're making $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year. Like people, it doesn't make any sense. So the black woman was created. The independent was created by her parents. She was created by the music industry. She was created by the film industry. Everybody made her, and they told her, oh, you can have your own thing. And that's why a lot of women are raising their kids or they dating each other. A lot of women are dating each other now because they said, well, man ain't got the standards I want, so the women just dating each other now. You know, you should date each other. Y'all agree? Like, yeah, date each other because a lot of men can't match your standards. Now that men are checking out, especially black men are checking out and going overseas, oh, they can't, they're really getting bad. Because now you got black women saying, we'll travel overseas too, but we're not, you know, you don't have to leave because everything's in your advantage here. You're traveling overseas but the men you're traveling to where the men are going that who ain't even looking for you. The men that are traveling overseas are the ones y'all said y'all didn't want. Most independent women don't want the man that's traveling overseas. They want the man, they said they want a man that can match you. Like a lot of dudes ain't trying to match you. When you have athletes leaving and traveling overseas to get women, to get a wife or a spouse, you know it's bad when you got athletes and actors and celebrities, millionaires leaving the U.S. to go across the sea to find women. A lot of y'all women, y'all don't get it, man. Men are leaving because we're tired of it. And there's a lot of black men that's traveling abroad that doesn't want to deal with you anymore. And you can't get mad at them because guess what? You know, and it's messed up, but you were trained to be independent and be by yourself. And if a man don't do nothing, I'll be by myself forever. Man, I would never be by myself. I love women. And since women don't give me attention here, I'll go other places and date. I ain't got a problem with it. I'm not getting the attention I want here. I don't get the good looking women, the nice women here. She doesn't really give me time of day. You know, even the girls ain't even that attractive or have attitudes now. So I travel abroad a lot. Like I said, when I travel abroad, I get some of the best treatment. You know, because the women take me serious. It ain't about money. It's not like me trying to save them. It's just they be attracted to you because you're a nice person. And women across seas like nice guys. See, women in the U.S., y'all like the bad boy and the tatted all up, and he got to be a macho and walking around with his chest out. That's not what I do. And the men who don't do that are not desired here. So we're the square ones that's going across the water. And yeah, the independent woman, she can do what she do. And she might own stuff here, but she's sad and alone. And it's messed up because a lot of y'all were brainwashed to be like that. There's nothing wrong with having your own. But when you're told you don't need a man, our mothers never told us that you don't need a woman. If nobody has never told their sons, you don't need a woman, get your own so you don't need a woman. We were never taught that. But you were taught that you don't need a man. So if you like my video, like my content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, hit the notification button. And this is your boy, AJ, the Black World Traveler. I am out.